Okay, now another concept I'd like to touch upon is minor 7 chord treatment, or basically minor chord treatment. And one way that fusion players do this is by utilizing the minor pentatonic scale. Because the scale is so closely related to minor chords, it's real easy to expand on not only those types of patterns for soloing, but we can use those also for chording and chordal comping. So in the PDF file, I have laid out the minor pentatonic scale in intervals just to kind of give you an idea of what's there and what we have to work with. Now, one thing that is good to do is do a little bit of harmonizing your pentatonic scale basically in different intervals. You can do fourths or fifths or whatever and just kind of experiment with different sounds. Double stops is a great way to do that, which we have, just moving in fourths. So that's one way of moving around the pentatonic scale. And like, let's say we were working with an A minor 7 scenario. We can use a little bit of those double stops to help expand on that minor sound. All right, and then the next thing to do is not only take those double stops and stack them, but now take double stops and lengthen the notes between them, or the interval between them. So instead of doing stacked fourths, we're now doing sixes. So what winds up happening is not only can you do chordal comping, but you can use that also for soloing too if you wanted to get different interval structures. So it gives you the more intervallic phrasing commonly seen with fusion. So the other example is to take double stops, still building upon double stops in minor form. So what I'm doing here is basically going through pentatonic and just using these particular shapes out of the scale. So we can build that up and make a static A minor vamp a little more flavorful. We can also take these double stops, which are actually alternating, like it looks like a 6 and a 5, intervals of a 6 and a 5th. We can take these and switch them. Now if I drone out an A, we get a lot of movement with an A minor, and we're really not, we're not really leaving the pentatonic at all. We're really staying really close to the minor 7 sound. You can also take chord shapes out of the pentatonic scale and just build these. Making those structures a little bit bigger and using three string chord shapes. Now the other thing we can do is we can build on those by making movement between that. What I did is I included some movement down, so we have the same shape we're doing here, taking our pinky finger off and putting our second finger on D. So what we have here is we have essentially A minor 7, and A minor sus4. creating a lot of movement in there. And now also you can take these larger shapes that we used for our 3-note per string pentatonics, and we can spread these out, basically where we're using these arpeggio shapes. We can use those as chords. You might not want to use all of these different shapes because they're very, very spread out. But if we flip them this way, this is actually easier to do. It's all built around a minor 7 chord. So, and because we're still keeping in line with the fact that we can move all these around everywhere, you're not just stuck in using these in A minor. You can switch them to D minor. Any particular minor 7 chord that we come across, we can use those to sub it out. So those are some of the examples there. Now the last example I have is spreading out. Basically spreading out all your notes by basically using the first two, your 6th and 5th strings and your 2nd and 1st strings. And what you have is almost like a spread out voiced power chord in a way. Some of them are like open 5th chords. It gives you more airy tone. So those are some examples of how to, get the most out of your minor 7 chords. Pentatonics are not just great for soloing, they're great for chordal comping too. So very imperative that you review those, and that will add an extra dimension to your fusion sound. So check out the PDF file and have at it.